Hello, Mr. Hausler here. So this is again continuing the Chapter 8 test prep, working on EO 15. I know there's a glare, but it does say graph critical points of a quadratic function. So that would be like the x-intercepts or the zeros, the y-intercepts, and the vertex. Again, this is all on Google Classroom, so you can get this. You can look at this form yourself, so you can read this stuff if that glare is causing the issue. So we have to sketch the following graph and label all its critical points. So I have my y-intercept as something I have to find. I'm using kind of the information here. A is -2, B is 7, and C is 4. After all of our practice so far in this chapter, we should know that this C value tells us what our y-intercept is. So I do know that this graph will be crossing through at a y value of 4. So it has y-intercept 0, 4. I go and I try to find the vertex now. Using this formula, this will help me find my line of symmetry or help me find the x value of my vertex. I just follow the format. Opposite of b, so that would be a -7. And then 2 times a. A is a -2, so if I double that, I get a -4, giving me an x value of 7/4. So my vertex will have an x value of 7/4. Okay, so knowing that, I will take this x value and plug it into here. And that should help me find my y value. I'm going to, for sake of saving time on the video, I'm going to show you guys what that would end up looking like. So you can pause the video at any time. The x value is 7/4. And you end up getting 10.125. So that's 10 1/8. So that's my vertex. I can label that on the graph. Now I'm over here to finding x-intercepts. That's going to involve factoring. So I'm going to use the x-box factor. A times c goes here and b goes here. So a times c, -8. B value is a 7. So I need to multiply two things together so that I get a -8. Trying to figure out what these are. When I multiply them together, I get a -8, but then when I add them, I get a 7. The fact that it's negative when I multiply together means the signs are different. I'm going to add them and get a 7. So, factors of -8. Okay, I just start off with the 1 and the 8. And since I want a positive 7 here, I'm going to distribute the -1 to that guy, and I have my answer already. That multiplied together gets -8, but when I add it, I get a 7. So I'll use that. Let me erase this here. I'll use that information to help create my generic rectangle. -2x squared goes here. The 4 goes up in the upper corner. And then I'm going to use this information here to plug in. It doesn't matter where you plug it in, but I'm going to end up putting the 8 up here and the 1 here. Now I just have to find these dimensions here so I can find out my factors so I can find out my zeros. So looking here, down the column, those both have a 2 in common, they both also have an x, so I'm going to pull out a 2x. Okay, now going down this column, the only thing they have in common is the 1. So how do I get a -2x squared? I have to have a -x times a 2x to get -2x squared. How do I get an 8x? It would have to be times a 4. 4 times 1 is 4. -x times 1. Might have to switch that there. So I need a -1 there. Now that's going to get that. No. Need that negative there. I see. That's supposed to be a -1. Fixes everything. Little mistake there, my bad. So now that I have that, I can actually go ahead and find the x-intercepts. I would have -x plus 4, 2x plus 1, I'll set that all equal to 0 so I can find the x-intercepts. Okay, so we'll use a zero product property. That means if any of these is 0, I get a 0 out. So I'm going to pretend that negative x plus 4, that's equal to 0. I'm also going to pretend 2x plus 1 equals 0. I'll solve each of those. I'll go different color. Subtract 4 on both sides. A negative x is equal to a negative 4. So that means that x is equal to a 4. That's one of my roots, one of my x-intercepts. Subtract 1, subtract 1. 2 times x is equal to a negative 1. Okay, so 2 times x is equal to a negative 1. I'm not quite finished there. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X is equal to a negative 1/2. Okay, so those are all my critical points. I have my y-intercept, I have my vertex, I have my x-intercepts. They did tell me to sketch this. So I'm going to go ahead and erase some of this so I have some room here. I need just a really brief rough draft. Doesn't have to be perfect. This guy is going to be opening down because I have a negative a value. My y-intercept is at a 4. And I have x-intercept at a 4. I have another x-intercept at a negative 1/2. I have to make sure that this thing has a vertex at 7, 4, 10, 8. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's basically 7/4, so it's almost 2. So I basically got a vertex about right there. And then it would be my job to label everything. 7/4, 10 and 1/8. This one is 4, 0. This one is negative 1/2, 0. And this one here is 0, 4. Everything's labeled. Again, feel free to rewind this video, watch as many times as you want. Good luck.